Dear students, today we are going to talk about phylum Echinodermata. Echinos means spines and derma means skin. So these are the animals which are called spiny skinned animals with a spiny skin. Now what happened that if we look at these animals on their surface, we can see a spiny appearance. It means that their skin have some kind of spine-like materials, or we can say structures. These are they belong to kingdom Animalia, invertebrate animals, and these are actually the last phylum of invertebrata. These are the last invertebrate animals, and these are also considered to be a link between invertebrates and chordates. The vertebrates, basically, chordates have one group which is vertebrata. As these are called deuterostomes. Deuterostomes mean that these organisms are, uh, when they are developing, at that time, uh, when blastopore is formed, that blastopore turns into um, an anus, and later on another invagination occur, and that invagination makes the mouth. So mouth forms secondary, we can say mouth forms later. The other group is called proteostomes. Proteostomes are those in which a mouth is formed from the blastopore directly and anus is formed later. So that's the difference. This is something that is related to chordates. I mean, this happened in the chordates. So that's why they are considered to be a link between invertebrates and chordates, as they are not having a notochord or vertebral column, but they are deuterostomes. So that's why they are a phylum which is called a link between these two groups of animals. Their examples include starfishes, also called sea stars, brittle stars, sea urchins, and so on, sea cucumbers, etc. Their habitat, if we talk about it, they are exclusively marine. They are completely all the time living in the marine environment only. Now, here is a picture of a starfish in which tube feet are shown from the ventral side and spines are shown on the dorsal side. So dorsal side do have spines and ventral side do have what we call tube feet. We'll elaborate on it later on. Now, grade of organization, if we talk about it, they are having organ system grade. It means that they are having organs which are making systems. For example, digestive system, they have a water tube system which is called water vascular system, they do have, and so on. If we talk about the germ layers, they are triploblastic. It means they are having three body layers: ectoderm, endoderm, and mesoderm. Now, if we talk about the symmetry, adults are radially symmetrical, while the larvae are bilaterally symmetrical. This is another different kind of feature, that adults are radially symmetrical uh, and larvae are bilaterally. We can divide larvae into two equal halves, I mean hypothetically, and adults are radial. Their body is without segmentation. There is no segmentation present in these organisms, though many of the invertebrates do have segmentation. That is, segment body is divided into segments of the parts, but they don't have it. Now they have arms with a central part. Mostly, these organisms do have a central part, a disc, and then arms are originating from it. Here you can see the central disc, arm, and there are more. Sea stars mostly, or starfishes mostly, have 5 arms. There are other which are having many. Then the presence of tube feet. There are tube-like feet present on their ventral side, which are extending out and which help them in movement. Here you can see a sea star, which is attaching their foot to the ground. And what happened that this system of tube feet is associated with a canal system inside of the body. In the arm, there is a canal from which these are originating. That canal do have seawater. So a hydraulic pressure is maintained inside that. And just like these feet act just like hydraulic discs, as you can see, one feet is attached here in this place. And when they attach, they create a vacuum, and they stick to the surface. When the arm moves ahead, then these next feet will attach to next surface, for example here, somewhere here, and then what will happen that these feet, they release themselves and the organism will kind of a jump on one arm, so they move in this way. Here is another good view of tube feet. This is a ventral view. You can see here there's so many tube feet here: one arm, second arm, third, fourth, and there are tube feet, many of them. Now, the shape of the body is generally flat, sometimes star-like, spherical, or sometimes elongated. So there are variable shapes, but generally they are flattened. That is dorso-ventrally flattened, not extremely flat like tapeworms or so, but flattened body they do have. Star-like if they are because they are having actually arms. Spherical, particularly in the center, or maybe sea urchin. Sea urchins are more spherical, sometimes also elongated. A proper head region is absent. This is another important feature of them, that there is no proper head region in these organisms. Then tube feet we already talked about. Here is another more closer view of tube feet. Here you can see many of them. There is a disc and then there is a tube which is going ahead inside to a canal system. The respiration, they do respire by papillae, gills, or cloacal respiratory. Here you can see papillae. These spines, many of them are actually papillae which help them in movement. Sometimes the gill-like materials are there, and cloacal respiratory also help them in respiration. The mouth is present on ventral side, while anus is present on dorsal side. So anus is present on dorsal side and mouth is present on ventral side. This is also another important feature. Here you can see a water vascular system in these organisms. Uh, Here you can see that this is a system of tubes, the radial canals. These tubes are filled with water, which will create a hydraulic pressure inside. And due to that, these tube feet can stick to the surfaces by creating a vacuum and changing and modifying the hydraulic pressure. So, there is a on the upper surface there is a we can say a hole, an opening which is called madreporite, from which water can come out and go inside these canals. So then in the center there is a canal which is called ring canal. From madreporite, water is connected to the ring canal, and through ring, tubes are going into the arms. So this is their basically system. Then, if we talk about nervous system, it's absent. They are called brainless organisms because then the proper nervous system, or we can say central nervous system, is absent in them. So, but these are brainless. These are considered to be brainless organisms. Um, then circulatory system, it is reduced. There is no heart, but there are vessels. It's not a detailed, not a complicated circulatory system. A simple one is there, but they do have blood which have no pigments, because what happened that they do have this water vascular system. Due to this circulating water in their body, they can perform many functions. That's why they do not need much complicated circulatory system. Digestive system though is complete, as they are free living organisms. Most of the, just like most of the other free living organisms, they are having a complete digestive system, having mouth, uh, extensions of mouth, extensions of intestine, and then anus. Excretory system is also absent. Water vascular system is present. We already talked about it, that there are, here you can see down there, that there is a madreporite, the opening, then which is connected to a ring canal, a central canal, and then canals are originating towards various arms, and then these canals are associated with the tube feet, which produce hydraulic pressure to help in movement and other functions. Here you can see a sun star. This is a central disk, and there are different arms, many arms. Now, if we talk about their reproduction, these are mostly dioecious, rarely monoecious. Dioecious means that the male and female organisms are separate. So there is a male and there is a female organism separately. Their reproduction, both asexual and sexual reproduction, they do. Asexual by gametic fusion, they produce gametes which have to fuse and make a zygote and develop into larvae, and then they grow into the adult. Asexual reproduction happen by regeneration. They also have a good regeneration power, as if arm is somehow damaged, they are able to regrow their arm. So they have regeneration power, we can say. Fertilization is external, and development is indirect with characteristic larvae. What happened indirect development, we already have described it again and again, but I repeat it again here, that indirect development mean that first of all, from a zygote, larvae will be formed, which will make change their shape again and again, feed a lot, and then ultimately they will be modified into an adult. So this is called indirect development. That there is a larval stage present. There, if we talk about the classification, they are divided into 5 classes: Asteroidea, Ophiuroidea, Kynoidea, Holothuriidea, Crinoidea. We'll talk about 3 as our pattern is. We are doing this from beginning. So class 1, Asteroidea. Body is flattened star shaped with 5 arms. This is starfish, the class of starfish. They possess 2 feet with a sucker. Calcareous plates are present and movable spines are present. Respiratory organs are papillae. Examples are sea stars and many more. Ophiuroidea, their body is flat with um, pentamerous disc. I mean, pentamerous means there are 5 sides of it. They possess a long arm which is sharply demarcated from the central disc. They possess 2 feet without suckers. 2 feet are there, but sucker is not there. Anus or intestine are absent. Respiratory organs are called bursae. These are examples of the amphiuria, for example, and many more. Omphiderma, and many more. Then echinoidea, their body is disc-like, hemispherical. They are devoid of arms or free rays. They possess 2 feet with a sucker. They possess compact skeleton and movable spines. Sea urchins, um, uh, diadema, sidaris, etc. are included in this class. Thank you. This was our today's presentation. You can post your questions in email, WhatsApp, or Moodle chat, or wherever you want. So, thank you. Is it?